6 weeks ago, Netflix's own co-CEO went on an earnings call and specifically praised one of their games for having, quote, really solid numbers. This week, the studio that had made that game doesn't even exist anymore. This is the story of Netflix's 5-year multi-studio bet on video games and why it's quietly falling apart. Back in 2021, Netflix made its first move into games, acquiring Night School Studio, the team behind the acclaimed narrative game Oxenfree. That was just a start. Over the next year, Netflix went on a real buying spree. Next Games, a Finnish studio, for $72 million. Boss Fight Entertainment, a new studio called Moonloot built from scratch. Team Blue, working on a high-budget original game. Spry Fox, makers of Cozy Grove, and at its peak, Netflix owned around 6 different game studios on top of its own internal games team, a genuine attempt to become a real player in game development, not just streaming. But almost as fast as Netflix built this up, they started tearing it back down. Team Blue was shut down in 2024, having never released a single game. Boss Fight Entertainment closed in October 2025, shortly after releasing a Squid Game mobile title. Spry Fox was sold back to its own founders in December 2025. One by one, the pieces of Netflix's gaming empire started disappearing. And then, this week, it got worse. On July 16th, during Netflix's Q2 earnings call, co-CEO Greg Peters specifically highlighted Night School's newest game, Unhinged, calling its numbers, quote, really solid. He also praised a game called FIFA World Cup Launch Edition as one of Netflix's most successful launches. Just 6 weeks later, on August 13th, Netflix shut down Night School Studio entirely, the same studio that made the game its own CEO had just praised. It also closed Moonloot, a studio that for 4 years had never even shipped a single game. Netflix also cut an undisclosed number of jobs from its own internal games team. And that FIFA World Cup game that was called a huge success, one outlet described it separately as, quote, widely panned. So where does that leave Netflix? Of the roughly 6 studios it once owned, only one remains, Next Games, based in Helsinki. In an official statement, Netflix said it's shifting focus towards, quote, kids gaming, party games, story-driven fare, and games with mainstream hooks, moving away from expensive, high-risk internal development and towards cheaper external publishing partnerships and simple party games you can stream to your TV like Netflix Mini Golf. In plain terms, Netflix spent years trying to become an actual game developer. Now, it's basically becoming a game licensor instead, putting its name on other people's work rather than building its own. Here's what I think this really shows. Netflix is one of the most successful media companies on the planet, but making great TV and making great video games are genuinely different skills, with different teams, different economics, and different risks. Netflix had the money to buy its way into game development. What it apparently couldn't buy was the expertise that you needed to make that bet and actually pay off. Money alone doesn't guarantee you can succeed in an industry you don't understand yet. And this is about as expensive a lesson as you can find. This is the exact kind of story I love covering. Not just a company's announcement, but a real timeline underneath it that shows what actually happened. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe and let me know in the comments if you think Netflix should give up on games entirely or keep trying.